Hey everyone, in this video, I'm going to show you the most expensive item that I have ever sold on eBay. And that's saying something because I've been selling on eBay since 1999, 2000. I'm going to show you this in the context of the top 10 most expensive items that I sold in my eBay store in July 2021. So I'm going to share my screen with you here. We're going to start at number 10 and work back to number 1. Now over here, you could see I've got a charger plate that I sold for $67.50. I took a best offer, just a few bucks off. Give you a little trip here down memory lane. This is the garage sale video where I sourced it from last month. And what really drew me into this at first were the nice colors on it, nice and bright. The pink went really well with the gold colors. We've got this nice image in the center of this courting scene. And on the bottom there, there's a close-up of an important print signature, which I'll talk to you more about in a moment. On the back, there's some important markings, like a maker's mark, says it was made in Germany. It says the company that made it. And on the front, you could see around the periphery, around the rim, there's more courting scenes on it. So I was really happy. I'm smiling from ear to ear because I knew that I had a great item there, and I got it for a great price. Was marked as $10. I asked her what the best was that she could do on it, and she said $6. So she took off almost half just from asking. So moving back to the listing, there's some important keyword terms that you want to use in a listing like this in the title and in the description, and it also gives you some information on things to look out for. Number one is that it's a charger plate. So a charger plate is a term used for these oversized plates that are designed to fit a smaller plate within it. That's why you see this concave area, this area with the dip, because that's where the smaller plate will sit. And the reason for that design is to reduce or prevent the chance that food or liquid will spill off of that plate, so it protects the table or tablecloth underneath it. Now, the next thing that's important is this term, Fragonard, and that refers to that print signature I showed you earlier. And I really want the prospective buyers to get a close-up of that. And this strategy I'm going to show you here, in which I successively bring the prospective buyers in closer and closer to the image, is something I do with a lot of art pieces. You could see me bringing the viewer in even closer here because I really want them to get a sense of that fine detail. The closer you could bring them into that detail, the greater the chance you have of selling the item. And plus, you really want to get a close-up of the signature, even if it's just a print signature. But this one's important. So again, it says Fragonard. That's the name of the artist, but that artist is famous for making these courting scenes. And so as a result, this style where there are courting scenes on the plate leads these plates to be referred to as being done in the Fragonard style, whether they were done by Fragonard or not. But this one, since it was named after the guy who came up with the style, that's something that I want to make sure that I highlight. Now, yes, you could use the zoom feature on the first image to try to, hope that the person will get a close-up of it. But sometimes that zoom function doesn't work, which is why I like to sometimes create these additional close-up pictures that actually will bring my camera up close, get a more fine detailed picture, and then use that one for the successive images. Also, this will give a more fine detailed view that that initial image will not give. On the back here, you could see this blue mark. This is referred to as a beehive shield mark because it looks kind of like a beehive, especially if it's pointed upwards, and it looks kind of like a shield. So people will sometimes call it beehive shield, beehive, or shield. It just depends on the person. So if you could add that to your listing here, that will help because people will search for that. That's why you see that there. And then information about the company and where it was made. That's why I have that in there. J. Kuba is part of what the JKW stands for. So whatever you could fit in, you have limited space, but put in what you can, and then the other stuff put in the description section. So moving on to the next item, we have a $70 sale here for an item that I no longer have any money into because it comes from a big comic collection that I bought many years ago. And this was a damaged piece that I set aside. You could see the damage here to the top left. The corner is actually just sheared off. And I've kept that piece and kept this comic book, hoping that one day there would be something that would make it go up in value. And that something would likely be that this is the first appearance of MODOK. And just my luck, turns out that now we have a Hulu series about MODOK. So MODOK is this character. You can see him here on the bottom there. He was also just in the picture I just showed you. Stands for mechanical organism designed only for killing. So he is a bad guy, as you can see, but he's very popular now. So as a result of that, people are looking for the first appearance. And this is a lesson that even damaged comic books will sell. Why would someone buy this? For a restoration project. There are people that restore comic books, and then what they could do is try to repair it so it looks something like this. You want to make it very clear in your listing that this is something that needs repair, that you're selling it for a restoration project. But still shows you these things do sell. I had it listed originally for $100, just took a little bit off each week, was happy whatever I could get for it, and again wound up getting a $70 sale. So happy with that one. And now this one is a Mrs. Primetime find. You may remember this as part of the Disney $300 mystery box of jewelry and accessories that we got. There's me showing it off in a prior video. We made our money back on that after selling just a few pieces. So this one is also all profit. I talked about in the video that I was hoping that we would get $100 or more out of that item. We did not get that. We got 75 bucks out of it, as you could see here, but we're still happy with that. So any type of Disney jewelry, be on the lookout for. You could still get items like this in Disney jewelry lots at Shop Goodwill. You can see here doing a close-up that it's Disney, doing a close-up that it's Swarovski. That helps, having that combo of Swarovski and Disney, two very popular brands, obviously. And then, just some additional images here, just showing the, some of the functionality of the piece and just different angles. So that was number 7. Moving on to number 6 is another Mrs. Primetime find. So this is back-to-back Mrs. Primetime, although this item was not something that she got for reselling purposes, but it's still a good item to show, because especially people who are new who are watching this, this is an example of types of things that you might want to just get started with listing. This happens to be something that she bought at the Crossings shopping outlet in Pennsylvania many years ago. She bought it for $40, but she never wound up using this Kate Spade leather crossbody shoulder bag. So rather than it continuing to take up space, she put it up on eBay. She had it for more than this, but took a best offer of 80 bucks. I think she had it for like $100, and might have even had it for more at one point in the past. But so we didn't make a ton off it. Goes to show you there's a difference between a high sale price and the actual profit on it. But still, she's happy. She made a few bucks on it, and glad to get it out of the closet so she could just buy another crossbody bag that she could put in there. But good job, Mrs. PT, on those 2 sales. Now, this is something that's a clothing item that I did do very well on. You might remember me showing this recently, these Camo shoes. Anything with a camo design does, usually do very well if it's paired with a good brand, and this is paired with Nike. Nike is the #1 selling brand of shoes, for athletic shoes on eBay. I sourced these for $5, which you could see here from that same garage sale video. And they were in really decent shape. The only problem with one of them, if you remember, there was all this sticky gum, the bubbleless gummiest, if you remember from that video. And I showed you how to get that stuff out of there. Hold on, it's going to come up in a moment as I flip it over. There you can see all that gunk out. So I show you that in the video. They cleaned up really nicely, as you could see from the images. I used acrylic shoe lifts to get this nice diagonal. If you've not used them before, I've shown them in a video in the past, and I have links to them in the description section through Amazon. But again, came out very well. $100, well, $99.99. And yes, if I would have priced it for $100 or more for athletic shoes, they will waive the final value fee on it. So keep that in mind. There are some people, though, that will look for shoe prices under that amount from where it would have to be sent out to be authenticated, because they want to get it a little bit faster. So, but if you could, if you remember to price it so that you could get it at that level, so you don't have to pay the final value fee, definitely do that. If you can. So now this one here, this is a book. It's not a comic book. It's actually a hardcover book, and it's about Jack Kirby. Jack Kirby is I would say the most famous comic book artist of all time, or at least he's definitely one of them. So anything with his name on it, I definitely look for. This came from a box of mostly hardcover books about comic artists or about comic art that I bought from a local comic book dealer who I deal with and I do a lot of wholesale stuff with. I happened to see this box. He had it filled with all this stuff from this local artist who had these books, who was selling them. And I just asked him, I said, "How much do you want for all the books in the box?" That was a pretty big box. And he said, $100. So I said, "Sure." I gave him the $100 because I knew just from looking at it, just from experience, I could get the money back pretty quickly. And this is a good example. Just this book alone, I got my money back and even made a little bit. So $120 sale. This happens to be the artisan edition. So there are these certain editions that have special features in it. So if you can find a special feature edition, but generally anything with Jack Kirby's name on it will sell very well. I put some pictures inside just to show some examples of the art and stuff. And again, those extra photos really do help make the sale. And so now every other book that I have from that lot is all going to be something that I'll make additional profit on. Speaking of damaged comic books, I've shown this sort of thing before, but it's just a reminder, if you have damaged comic books, especially if they're old, not to throw them out. What I do is I assemble them in these big lots. I strategically try to lay out the most juiciest titles right in the front, like Batman and Robin, Alpha Flight #1, The Eternals. All these things are popular now. Thor, Galactus, Submariner, those types of things. Focus on what is the person's point of view going to be when they're looking at it and try to imagine how they're going to see it. That's where you want their eyes to draw into. And then I do some additional close-ups of it here as well. And I always like to use this tower approach where you stack them up and you give the person a sense of how much volume is actually there that they're going to be getting. I start the auction at $9.99, free shipping. Because I know just based on my history that these always do well. As you can see here, 29 bids sold for $185.50, which is not bad for stuff that most people would just throw out. Every single one of those comic books is damaged. They come from the silver, bronze, copper, golden, and golden age. They're not modern comic books. Modern comic books would be a different story. They would not sell for as high as these. So they do have to be older. People will purchase them for crafting, and some people will purchase them because they don't care about the condition and they just want to read them. So in comic terminology, those are referred to as reader comics. Now, if $185.50 sounds good, how does $315 sound? Sound good? Sound much better? It does to me. That's what these originally sold for. But unfortunately, because eBay doesn't have a mechanism in place to compel people to pay after an auction, the person never wound up paying for it who previously won this for over $300. Yes, you could send second chance offers out to the people who came up before that, but the people involved in this particular bidding did not want it. They weren't interested anymore because you got the emotion is totally taken out of it. The luster is worn off. And so as a result, when you relist it, you could see that has an effect, and that brought the price down to $185.50. So there's a problem with eBay's policy, which is why they need to fix it, because this is a great example that shows that not only do we lose money off of that, but also eBay loses money off of it. So it's in their interest to fix this. Let us get paid immediately for auctions. Okay, this is another item, great sale, $259.99. It's a Douglas SPD Dauntless Battle of the Midway diecast plane made by HM. That's a great brand to look for. Hobby Master. You might remember me getting that at this estate sale from the 1940s house. And at the time when I bought this, I described that I was told that it was just taken out of the box, was sitting there for many years, and had never been used. Well, it turns out that upon closer inspection, there was some damage to the propeller. I mean, it wasn't anything major, but I did have to disclose it. Fortunately, I still was able to realize a great price on it. I did source it for $48. At the time, comps were like $178. So I'm really happy with how I did on it. So there you could see there, basically $260 sale. So look for die cast planes, models that aren't in existence anymore, things by Hobby Master. They're great types of items to pick up. And don't be afraid to spend a little bit more money if the comps show that it's worth it to do. Okay, this is the second to last item here. So number two, this is the rare Crosley CD recorder radio. This is a great piece. If you remember, this was sitting at the end of that same estate sale where I found the plane. And to my shock, everyone had walked by it. No one was interested in it. And so the estate sale dealer just sold it to me for $25. This had been sitting in the box. This truly had never been opened. I think it came, yeah, from 2008. The original purchase price was around $325 on it. Crosley radios and record players and stuff. I mean, they really can go for good money. So don't pass them up if you get them for a good price. $325 was what I sold it for. So great price. Shipping on it wasn't bad. Was somewhere like 25, $30. And that's through FedEx home delivery. So make sure you're looking into FedEx home delivery. You could often get a great price, especially if it's going farther away compared to what you would get with FedEx Smart Post or Priority. That brings me to the number one overall item, the most expensive item that I have ever sold on eBay. Now, prior to this, the most expensive item I ever sold on eBay was a comic book, Giant Size X-Men #1. It was mostly all profit, pretty much was all profit. And that one sold for $1,250. But that record has now been eclipsed by this sale right here of cinefantastique #2, graded as an 8.5 by CGC. It's got the yellow signature label on top, and that's because this book was signed by William Shatner. It was signed, as you can see here, by Patrick Stewart and Malcolm McDowell. It's got the images of all three of them on there. It's a great collector piece. I purchased this at an online auction for $640. And I know a lot of people are saying, wow, oh my God, I wouldn't have the nerve to do that. But this is something that developed over time in terms of my confidence with these types of investments based on smaller investments that I made prior to this and showing that they paid off. So I was willing to take this type of risk. It was the single highest graded signed comic book, not comic book, sorry, single highest graded magazine for this issue, because this actually is a magazine. I know it looks like a comic, but it's not. It's a magazine. Also, you gotta think that Patrick Stewart, and forget Malcolm McDowell for a second, but Patrick Stewart and William Shatner. William Shatner just turned 90. They're getting up in age, so there's going to be a point soon where they're not going to be signing anything anymore. And so, to get a piece like this is something I know, especially with Star Trek collectors, that this is going to be something that's going to be highly sought after at some point. And I had it listed at $2,000, but I was willing to make a deal. And so I sent an offer out for $1,500, and that's what I sold it for. I sold it for $1,499.99. If I can double or slightly more than double my money on these types of investments, I'm very happy with doing that. So it's not the most profitable item that I ever sold, but it is the most expensive item. If you're interested in learning about making these types of higher price types of investments, I do have a video about it that I will share up top. So go check that out. And also make sure you go check out the eBay store of none other than the man, the myth, the legend, Mike Camporiale. That's right. There he is right here. There's his eBay store, Mike Metco. He's got lots of cool items in there. He's got over 800 items. He's a member of the channel, and I like to highlight members of the channel. It's something I do. It's part of all membership levels. So I'll put a link to his store in the description section and in the comment section of the video. You can see he sells Mad magazines and stuff, electronics, all sorts of great stuff there. I actually highlighted him in the Facebook group last time I checked this morning. He had made one sale. So I will highlight your store if you're a member in my Facebook group, the Facebook Reselling Resource Center. We've got over 27,000 members there. So go check us out for sure. And make sure you come by tomorrow night or check the replay if you're watching this later. It's going to be August 4th, 9 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. I've got Chris, the Thrift Shop Hustler, coming over. We're going to talk about reselling digital collectibles, also known as NFTs. Very interesting new area. It's going to be a lot of fun. Look forward to seeing you there. Don't forget to like, comment, and subscribe, everyone. Take care.